up, Doe Detroit? What up, Doe World? We're back for another episode with Hey Renee. This time, we're keeping it interesting as we always do. But this time, we're going to talk politics. And our guest today is this amazing young man. He is a go-getter. He is Detroit. And he wants to make a difference for not only his community, but all of our Michiganders. So please, welcome to Hey Renee, Arthur Harrington. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you.
So just so y'all know, this young man is in law school. He is working in a government position.
Detroit City Council.
Detroit City Council.
Yes.
And you're running for office.
Yes, state representative.
Wow, Arthur. And you're how old?
I am 23 going on 24.
23 going on 24,
yeah,
right? Claim it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Arthur. Well, thank you for joining us and our viewers here at Hey Renee. So let's get into some questions.
Let's get into it.
Because I am ready to hear what this brilliant mind has to share.
Yes.
Arthur, your journey from Cass Tech High School, as you all know, second to none is Cass Tech.
Number one.
And then you went to Hampton
University, yep.
And then after Hampton,
Wayne State Law School.
You came back to the D for law school. So tell us the moment when you wanted to lead rather than just participate. What lit the fire?
Well, I feel like it really started for me. You know, I grew up a church kid. My grandmother's a pastor, and I feel like my grandmother had me speaking to the congregation at an extremely young age. And you know, speaking in front of the people, seeing the needs of the community at that young age, I feel like it really changed for me. Especially when I got to high school at Cass Tech, I got involved in some programs like Michigan Young Democrats and Michigan Youth in Government, and I got my first political internship with former Council President Brenda Jones. That really lit the fire for me, and I feel like that was kind of the start of it all for me.
Okay, so your parents, your grandparents submerged you in a world
my parents,
that required you to get up and speak.
Yes, it did.
And it said, wait a minute, I think I got something.
Yep, and God blessed me with that gift. You know, I've nurtured the gift of public speaking, and I feel like that's how it kind of sprouted into, you know, aiding and assisting with being able to communicate effectively with the people.
And that is important, isn't it now?
Yeah.
You've lived Detroit your whole life.
Correct.
And you're running to represent it now.
Yes.
What is something about Detroit most people outside the city don't understand?
Well, I feel like, you know, I'm running to represent Michigan's 9th House District where we are currently. That's downtown, midtown, east side communities. And I feel like something that people may not know, let alone about the district and the city of Detroit, is also, I would just say, our grit and our determination. I feel like there was a branding discrepancy that took place a while ago with Detroit being like impoverished, you know, high levels of crime and different things of that nature. But that's not who we are as a people. That's not the soul of Detroit. That's not the spirit of Detroit. We are strong people. We are fighters. We are soulful individuals. And I feel like that is becoming more so now than ever the premise of the city of Detroit and the face of the city of Detroit. And so that if some folks didn't know that a couple of years back, now they know that today that Detroit is a shining light of hope.
Shining light. It is the grit of the grind that makes us so divine, right?
Yeah, and here we are.
Here we are. What's Detroit's biggest misconception that you want to obliterate in Lansing?
Yeah, I want to obliterate the misconception that Detroiters are not engaged voters. I'll definitely say that. I feel like a lot of folk in the city of Detroit are very engaged. They're very supportive. They understand. They're very knowledgeable about politics. But there's just a voter apathy that's taken place over our politics. A lot of people don't want to vote because they don't understand how, you know, folk may be helping them, or they don't feel like they're given the resources that they deserve, or the promises may not have been kept. And so I feel like it's my job to obliterate the misconception that Detroit voters are not educated voters and that Detroit voters aren't active in the way that they should be, because I would argue that we are active and that Detroit voters know what they want and how they want it. They just need someone that's going to fight for them and actually have their best interest at heart.
So when I hear that response, I think of the percentages that they report after
18% of the vote, you know, for the mayor's race. Only
That's
18%.
ridiculous.
Voter apathy.
And so I guess my question, How do you change that mindset? Because voting is huge. My kids know at 18 you're going to vote. They come with me to vote, and they've been doing this since they were little kids. So they're growing up in it.
Right.
They're prepared. But there's hundreds, if not thousands, right, of people who are, I would say, for a lack of a better term, our neighborhood folks who aren't necessarily engaged in politics, and how do you get them to move to the polls?
They're not energized because they don't see their situation changing. They've had politicians come around every other 2 or 4 years saying what they're going to do for them, knocking on their door, and then they never see the change. And I feel like that's why people have given up on institutional politics and just the same politics as usual. But the type of campaign that I'm running, my slogan is "We deserve more." And my slogan is "We deserve more" because a lot of folk have not been given what they deserve. A lot of folks in my district have not been given what they deserve. And so I'm going to these communities, I'm putting boots on the ground, and I'm letting them know that I'm not just trying to come around for your vote, but I'll be around every day of the week moving forward, even after I'm elected, because bridging that gap and having those relationships and nurturing those relationships down the line is what really matters at the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, some folks just want to be heard. I work in Detroit city government now. We get so many calls of people just wanting to vent about the problems that they're going through, and they just don't have anyone to talk to about it. And so I feel like being that bridge connector, I feel like it's very, very essential, and that will get people energized to vote.
And I also think this is where your age is going to play in.
Yes, it will.
The young guy coming up saying, "Believe in me, trust me, and watch me do my thing." Love that. And I'm excited for that. Being just a big time voter, being a part of voter, get out the vote campaigns, and come on, please. So, yes, this is where age is going to play in your favor.
Yes, it will.
All right, so you've talked about activism and community work. What was the defining policy moment when you said, "I need to run for office"?
Well, I wouldn't even say it was the defining policy moment, but it was the defining person. Seeing all the things that Donald Trump is doing currently within the federal government, cutting, trying to gut food stamps, trying to gut Medicaid, trying to gut our educational system, trying to dismantle it. I said, this is something that I need to get involved with on a policy level, on a state level, to be that fighter, to be the stronghold that's going to stop some of those policies that could try to, affect the folk within the state of Michigan. I'm a first-generation college student. I've had some of my family members that have had run-ins with the criminal justice system. I grew up on free lunch. I grew up on Medicaid, all things that many people in my district can relate to that Donald Trump is trying to take away from us. So I wouldn't say it was even a defining policy moment, although a lot of the policies that he is pushing are not to our benefit, but more so to our detriment. It was the defining person. And that's why my campaign, again, is "We Deserve More" for State House District 9. And I believe that we'll be able to make it happen in fighting against those things that he's pushing.
Arthur, you're giving me some inspiration over here. I get a little tingly because I'm feeling excited. Yes, Arthur Harrington. Let's talk about endorsements. You've earned a few endorsements. Would you mind sharing them?
Yes, we just dropped our first batch of 12 endorsements.
Wow.
We still have more to come.
Okay.
But we just dropped our first batch of 12. Thus far, we have Representative Helena Scott. We have Representative Amos O'Neill, Representative Jimmy Wilson Jr., Representative Peter Herzberg, all folks that are doing the work currently in Lansing and working on the behalf of the people. Business leaders-wise, we have Reverend Horace Sheffield, Mary Sheffield's father. We have Chris Jackson, a partner with Queen Lillian Development.
Oh, yes.
We have, on the political side, we have Kevin Tolbert, 12th Congressional District Chair.
Nice.
We have Southfield City Councilman Charles Hicks. We have Shar Goolsby, who does work with the SEIU, and she's also the president of the Longfellow Block Club Association. And also all the work that they're doing on MAC Alive with former Rep. Artina Tinsley Harmon and former Rep. Alberta Tinsley Talabi. Those are just a few of the endorsements that we have. We have just been endorsed today before I got here by Councilman Scott Benson.
Nice.
And so we have a lot of endorsements coming in. We have a lot of support coming in. But besides the endorsements, the most important thing is connecting with the people. That's what matters at the end of the day. People can raise a lot of money. They can get a lot of endorsements to put people's faces on a flyer. But connecting with the people is what matters at the end of the day for me.
So, with endorsements, with this big momentum,
yes,
there's a good and there's always the other side.
Yes, there is.
So, what's the hardest criticism you've received so far, and how did you respond to it?
Well, I feel like a lot of people would come at me for my age. Arthur, you're 23, going on 24. Maybe you should just relax a little bit. Maybe you should slow it down. I've been told that all of my life. I graduated. I've been on a speedy trajectory. People are like, hey, maybe you should take a gap year before you go to law school. I did 3 years at Hampton University, got a full ride, went straight to Wayne State Law School with another full ride, and I went straight through. And, I'm even rushing the process to get done with law school a semester early. And so people have told me to slow down my entire life. But it has been to my benefit to keep going. It has been to my benefit to continue to push. It has been to my benefit to continue to fight and I tell them, hey, you may slow down.
Yeah.
That's your life.
Role.
I'm going. We only have one life to live, and I'm going to live it in the way that I choose to live it. And I've dedicated my life to serving people, and I'm going to continue to go far and go fast in the route that I'm doing it.
Amen, Arthur Harrington.
Yeah.
I'm big on the dash.
Yeah.
How are you living your dash?
Yes.
And that's up to you. So if you want to do it slow, you want to do it fast, but the thing is to live it. And congratulations, because you're obviously doing that.
Just live.
Live. All right, so we're going to switch up to public safety now.
Okay.
Gun violence.
Yes.
So I know the crime has gone down, and I'm so happy about it. But I still hear guns ringing from time to time, especially over here on the east side, where I'm also from.
Yes.
What exactly would you do at the state level to protect the communities without alienating lawful, gun owners?
I'm so glad that you asked that question, because I was a mayoral fellow in the city of Hampton, Virginia, aiding to manage a $1.3 million CVI budget.
Okay.
And CVI is something big that's happening within the city of Detroit. Once I graduated,
So tell us what CVI means.
Community violence intervention.
Okay.
Community violence intervention, and that is something that's impacted the city of Detroit on a positive level as well, making investments more into community violence intervention groups, while also assisting with our police departments, educating them on trainings as it relates to dealing with mentally ill folk. Because when we call the police for someone in our family who may be mentally challenged, we don't want them to, Lord forbid, get shot.
Right.
But we want them to be, we want there to be an intervention. And so for me, I would just make more investments into community violence intervention groups. I would make more investments into educating our police officers, making sure that they have the resources that they need to intervene, not more so arrest all the time, but to intervene and to de-escalate. To your question directly, I wouldn't alienate gun owners. I feel like we need to make more investments into education. Education is extremely essential on whether it's school education, voters education, gun holders education. I feel like we need to educate folks on the importance of safety when it comes to guns. And so I wouldn't alienate them, but I would more so put more resources to educating them.
Smart. What's the difference between public safety and policing in your vision for the future of Detroit?
Yeah, I feel like public safety for me is community work.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have a role to play in public safety. I feel like policing is not the route to go. We have been essentially police for many years, and sometimes over-policing is not the way to handle situations. We cannot continue to try to over-police our way out of situations and over-police our way out of hurt, over-police our way out of pain. That's not the way to get out of it. But the way we can do it is coming together, working together, finding ways and plans on how we can move forward. And I think that CVI and community violence intervention is one of the ways to do it. But I think even getting back together as a city and our neighborhoods, they have become disconnected.
No.
I heard back in the day that you could go down the street and you could, talk to the lady sitting on the porch, and
Yes.
she would. I feel like we could bringing back the spirit and the soul and the heart of our neighborhoods is something that would really help with community public safety.
Yeah, that 80s crack epidemic,
Yes.
it did a toll on all of us, all of America. But here in Detroit, it really started that the housing issues, it's just the communication.
Yeah.
No one trusts anyone.
Yeah.
And get out of my business.
Yeah, and folks are being tired of being over policed, but what we need to do is start pouring some of those resources into the people.
So, minimum wage, jobs, and youth opportunities. What measure would you push in Lansing first, and why would it truly shift the economic realities for Detroit families?
You said a few things, and I would say the first things that I would push for is education. I know you mentioned youth opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it all starts at education. I feel like the schools that someone goes to can affect the type of job opportunities and outcomes that they will get in the future. So youth opportunities are number one, starting with after school programs, things that I was able to benefit from, making sure that we're continuing to have free lunch for the most vulnerable in our schools, because at the end of the day, we have students that may go to the classroom, but they can't focus because of a lot of things that they're going through at home, financial burdens. So we want to try to decrease that financial burden. Moving into job opportunities, we want to make sure that we are making more investments and appropriating funds from Lansing into this district. The AMI per household in my district is around 700.
Tell us what our audience, just in case, because we know acronyms.
Yes.
Acronyms, and we think we just roll off. But for the folks who don't know what it is, can you say?
Area median income. The area median income per household in my area that I live in is $75,000 in our district, but in the entire city of Detroit, it's around under $35,000, right? So that means that there is the haves and the have-nots. Then when we talk about the tale of two cities, it is true. A lot of people feel like they're being locked out from the access to opportunities that's taking place because of this invisible divide that's taking place. So my job as a state representative, I don't like to make promises that I can't keep, but one thing I will say is partnering with the business community to make sure that we are cutting the red tape, cutting the bureaucracies, which is something that I hate, and at least having at least one meeting per month with leaders in the business communities, and giving them the tools and information that they need to be able to start a small business within our area. Because we know downtown, midtown area, even some places on the east side, they have everything that they need, and they have the resources, and they're continuing to get these tax credits and benefits to be able to improve their businesses. But what about the small business owner on the east side, the single mother that's trying to start up a hair company or a nail shop, or the brother that's trying to start up a print company? We need to be able to give them those resources that they need to be able to tap into the economic opportunity as well that's taking place in the district.
I totally agree, and I also feel that Detroit is two cities. The haves, the have-nots. The folks who get into the programs at the different organizations who have been around for a long, long time, but it's always the same type of kid because you're your parent or your grandparents. But then there's a whole slew of folks, Detroiters, who don't get access. Either they don't feel comfortable or they just don't know. So Detroit schools, let's go there, struggling with funding and outcomes. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay. What's your plan that goes beyond slogans that's going to actively move the needle?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that. One of my main objectives when I do get to Lansing is looking to be on the Education and Workforce Committee. I want to be on the Education and Workforce Committee so I can appropriate funds to our district. We are struggling with funds. We are struggling with even our retention rates, and folks, mothers and fathers even wanting to educate their children within the city of Detroit. We don't even have a lot of schools that even want to charter within the city of Detroit. We need to make sure that we are making more investments into our public education and giving our teachers the resources that they need. I'm completely fine with increasing the pay of our teachers. They are the most essential workers. There's no way why they should be coming out of pocket to fund their own classrooms. It's ridiculous. We need to make sure. I was watching one of my teachers from Cass Tech. She says her class is double the size that it needs to be. And so we need to make sure that we are making more investments into our teachers so they can do the role and that they can do it gracefully. And I would also make sure that we are making more investments and appropriations into our district and our public schools.
Okay. Sounds good. You're a young Black man.
Yes.
And you're running in a district with deep historical challenges, as we've been talking.
Historical, yes.
What gives you confidence you won't become part of the problem once you're in office?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people talk about. They talk about the Lansing swamp creatures and draining the swamp, and people say they're going to do things for me, and then they just get up there and they become a part of the problem. One thing I will say is just being grounded in your humility, understanding and having folks around you that are able to keep you grounded, and like yourself, you keep me grounded. And I'll say that for everyone watching. Miss Renee Yancy will text me and be like, "Hey Arthur, remember your purpose. Remember why you're doing it. You're doing it for the people." And for me, it's always been Arthur Harrington for the people. It's always been we deserve more. It's always been we are stronger together. And I feel like once I start, if folks make it about themselves, you're disconnecting yourself from the reality of why you actually do the work that you're supposed to be doing, and it's to be for the people.
Excellent, excellent, exactly. And that to me will fix every problem that we have if folks could just be for the people and show up for what they ran for instead of buying desks and fancy cars and vacations on our tax dollars at that. So you talked about your age.
Yes.
How do you defend your candidacy to someone who says experience matters? You're just too young.
Oh, I love that question.
Come on,
yes. Experience does matter, and I would argue that I do have some experiences that would be to the benefit of our community. I have worked at every level of government. I have worked in Washington, D.C. I've worked on a city level. I've done work on a state level, and so I feel like those experiences will be able to play into the work that I do. Even working in city council currently, I deal with policy matters on a city council level that I'll be able to take to a state level. And so for me personally, we have some politicians that may be more seasoned, that may have been in there for years, and that is completely fine for them. But there's people who have been in there for years that are simply not doing the work. And they perpetuate the problems. They keep getting elected based off of name recognition and because of the voter apathy. That's why they keep winning. It's not that some folk are even doing everything that they're supposed to do, but people are tired. They're tired of politics as usual. I believe that my candidacy will win and this campaign will win because we are energizing the people. We are getting people ready to fight. We are getting people ready to go. And so I would just fight back by saying that I believe that experience does matter. And my campaign does have that experience.
And when you win, you're going to come back here. We're going to talk about your victory.
And I'm ready to talk about it.
Hey, Renee. And so tell us how our viewers can support you, how we can follow you. What do you want us to do?
Yes. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to be on this show. It's been absolutely amazing thus far and very hospitable. You guys can follow our campaign at Arthur Harrington on Instagram, Arthur Harrington on Facebook, and Arthur Harrington on LinkedIn. But again, to follow our campaign, go to www.harringtonforstaterep.com. You can get involved. You can contribute financially. You can contribute time-wise, knocking doors, volunteering. But the most important thing I want you all to do is to go to your neighbors, go to your brothers, go to your sisters, go to all of your family members and tell them to vote in the next upcoming election. You can vote for me August 4th of 2026, and we'll be able to make the change for the district because we do deserve more.
Ooh, get it, Arthur Harrington. Yes, thank you. So here we are wrapping up another episode of Hey Renee. Dynamite guest, right? Arthur Harrington.
Thank you.
I am looking forward to your great things.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you, Arthur. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next Thursday right here at Hey Renee.
Hey, 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 hey.